Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, let's take a look at what our national dailies are saying. As usual, we start with the Weekend Trust, and boldly written there, you can see it's insecurity. Kwara bleeds now. I heard you mentioning earlier that Kwara again, because we know that so many states are already bleeding because of insecurity. We talk about Benue, Borno, Zamfara, Katsina. The constant killing, the constant attacks, the constant abduction. It's becoming too much. So this is actually one thing that I'm sure a lot of Nigerians are becoming. This is becoming like normal for people now, because every day we see this same kind of story that bandits attack, insecurity in all. It's just something that I don't know when it's going to stop, but it's actually affecting people.
Fatima, you know why I said Kwara again? Because we have a lot of states already that has been affected by insecurity. And Kwara was once regarded as one of the most peaceful states we have in Nigeria. So how come, I was like wondering how come the rate of escalation of killings, abductions, and mass displacement and what have you has already eaten deep. And is it that the media do not really report what is happening exactly in Kwara State, or it just started now?
It's actually really sad, but at this point I can see the reported number of people killed and kidnapped in Kwara State only in 2025. You can actually see the table of each state from Kwara to Kayama, the affected local government areas, the killed, the kidnapping. You can see from the the orange is showing the affected local government areas, then the black is showing the number of killed people, and then the number of kidnapped is showing on the red dots that you're seeing on the screen right now. But then just grab a copy so you can find more details and so you can know what actually is happening in Kwara State at this point. And then you can see that Chibok girls abduction, a scar I'll die with. This is coming from Jonathan. I mean, yes, he came out to say that even though there are lots of things coming out on this particular incident, but it's one thing he said he will live with for the rest of his life, because it was during his tenure, during his time as a president. And then you can find details on page 16. Court held a police enforcement of tinted glass permit. I mean, this is one thing that has been causing chaos between police and motorists.
Tinted glass.
Yes, because the issue of tinted, there are tinted tints that comes with the car from the manufactured company, and there are some that actually put it in. You could see the difference. The one that you go to put yourself, it's more darker than the one that comes with the company.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's even though the dark ones is actually scary, because you can't tell what is happening inside the car. If someone is being killed, if someone is abducted, if someone is screaming, you can't even tell. And I understand the reason why they were saying no tint, no tint in cars, so that people will see into the car when you're stopped for checkups and what have you. But what do you think about it?
With the rate of insecurity, I think
you get
yes, it's too much these days, And you just mentioned if one is being kidnapped,
you can't
exactly. So with this, I think I'm with the police people, because Fatima, everybody is scared. Everybody is scared of everybody. You're always, cautious when you go out. You're always scared. Even in your house, you're scared. So with this rate of insecurity, I think it's a good thing to start checking.
I'm against the courts actually halting the police from enforcing the tints.
Yeah, and humans,
because it's something that has been going on for a while now. So it should continue. I mean, they stop people that have tints. It's either you see people scraping it with razors, and you just see someone parked by the road and he's scraping, maybe because he has gotten the information, because you could see some people's cars at the time because they had to remove the tint and it doesn't go off easily, So
no, in as much as Nigerians have the right to privacy, this is something that needs to be checked, because the rate of insecurity in Nigeria is becoming too alarming.
Yeah. Well, you can find more details on page 16. And then bridges, roads succumbed to flood in Taraba, Kebbi, and others. Now, this is another situation that we've seen bridges collapsing. We see roads having more, potholes, because the rain is also, erosion is one thing that actually eats deep. And, so the flood this time around is actually becoming much more than even it was before. Even though NIMET has done a tremendous job by, you know, alerting people. I mean, just recently also they are saying people in Kaduna, you know, Niger and the rest should actually evacuate people that are staying closer to riverine areas and stuff. So
it's just so unfortunate that this keeps happening every year without like addressing or taking care of the root cause of the issue. You know, where in Nigeria, most places do not have what do you call it, drainage systems, you know, and this keeps happening, you know.
There are drainages, but they are blocked. A lot of them are actually
it's part of the root cause. They should like address it and take care of that, you know, to at least reduce the
yeah. I
rate
mean,
at which this
I saw
flood
a
is
very dark
happening.
man saying that, you know, they are creating a group of people in different states that they would actually start going out to see how they can actually help with drainages. You know, they will pack the refuse dumps that are by the streets, by the roadside, that are actually causing a lot of this havoc and what have you.
Yeah.
And this is as far as I'm concerned, is it's patriotic Nigerians for people to actually come out to do that. So it's better let's do it than, you know, keep waiting for the government to come and do the job for us, because at the end of the day, it's still people that are throwing those refuse dumps. It's not the government. So at least there should be a place where they can actually, this should be a place for the refuse dump, no matter the area you are. Just make sure this is where you dump them, so that when the people come to sanitization and whatever, they could just easily just, you know, evacuate them from the street, from where it is particularly given to them for them to dump them. But then you can find details on page 26. And then depression, failed marriages, failed drug abuse among women. I mean, you can see the, you know, cartoon of the women. Is a sad situation, and this is actually the reality of a lot of women at this point. You can find details on page 10. Lives of former governors turned traditional rulers, which is actually interesting. You can find details on page 28. How misinformation throws Nigerian women into surrogacy ditch. You can find details on page 13. I mean, this is actually a whole lot, you know, the drug amongst women, and then, you know, the surrogacy issue, and, you know, what have you, misinformation, especially on when it comes to cryptic pregnancies and a lot of things that actually people are not aware of. So you can find more details on page 13, and that's the much that there is for the Weekend Trust.
Well, now to the Guardian newspaper, and boldly written as inside story of Surinka Center for Culture Creative Art. This is all about the story of Wally Soyinka, you know. You can find this story in pages 8 to 10 of The Guardian. Right at the top, Professor Steve Azaiki providing global leadership with African roots, building a lasting legacy. Well, this is in the People's page 2 of The Guardian. And the inside stuff right at the back page is a message from Cry, the beloved country, at the back page. My ambition to govern Ekiti is rooted in genuine desire to serve my people, says Ojo. This is in page 28. Well, politics. Right below the front page is Oshun local government funds. Court extends account freezing order till October 9th. You can find this on news page 2 of The Guardian. State reaffirms commitment to decentralized power market. The Bank Park Pedal claims. This is in page 2 of The Guardian. Afenifere fumes over incursion of terrorists into Kwara, Kogi. This is in page news page 3. Say once against Afghanistan-style destabilization. We just talked about the Kwara insecurity and terrorism and what have you. Well, you can find this in page 3, like I mentioned earlier. Police insistence on issuing CMRIS certificate ridiculing, says Huriwa. Court suspends enforcement to tinted glass permits. You can find this in page 3. I mean, we just talked about the tinted glass permit with Fatima in the, you know. Striking lecturers of Ondo Varsity lament government's neglect of institution. This is in page 35 of The Guardian, and this is the much that there is in The Guardian newspaper today.
I mean, I mean, I'm just seeing more information about the things, which is going to become a huge, situation, because there are cars that are actually being seized and what have you. But then let's take a look at
Cars are seized,
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
we'll get to that. But let's take a look at Saturday Punch.
It's that serious.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
take a look at the Saturday Punch. The major story there says, still talking about the insecurity inside bandit bloody attack that emptied Kwara community. And then the riders said, I hid in the roof while they killed traditional ruler. This is coming from the brother. And then I considered suicide after losing husband. This is coming from a relative and relatives. And this is coming from the widow. You can find details on page 2 and 4. This is actually sad. I can't imagine the trauma that, you're hiding in the roof and you could actually, you're holding back when you're seeing your brother being killed. Like, I can't imagine the trauma. I can't imagine how that is going to destabilize
for the rest
you
of
for the rest of your life. I mean, I keep, this is even an adult. This is probably an elderly person, maybe someone much more older than maybe 18, 20. I'm just saying. And then imagine children that their parents are being killed. Imagine parents that their children are being slaughtered. I mean, the trauma, I can't, it feels like film when you're even talking about it, but it's the reality, and that's what's actually happening. It's actually really sad. You can find details on page 2 and 4 of the Punch, like I said. And then you can see that you are a deadbeat father, Olo ex-wife slams monarch. And you can find details on page 5. And then, from dares to death. Now, sad tales of youths betting lives held for thrills. Now, we've seen a lot of games coming up, and what have you. So people are betting either you take, they'll tell you to rush Coke, they'll tell you to eat a huge sum of food, especially swallow and what have you. And people don't know what they are doing to their systems at the end of the day. But then, it's a whole lot. You can find details on page 20 and 21. Sumter's death pierced my heart like arrow. Now, this is coming from Arise TV reporter's father. You can find details on page 11. It's actually a sad situation, very young girl with a promising career. I mean, it affects all of us as journalists, because she's one of us,
Exactly.
So it's a sad situation. But you can find details on page 11. And then I talked about the tinted glass permit. Police seized 210 vehicles in 6 states. Exactly.
That's much.
I mean, if it's not company tint, there should be a question to be asked. That I agree. But seizing the cars, are they going to remove the tint and then return the cars? What exactly? But then that's the curiosity.
That's what happened to like paying fines. Seizing cars is just, I think it's out of.
So if I arrest you now and I ask you to pay fine, and then probably you travel to another state.
Well, when they impose a heavy fine on you, you're going to remove it.
So except if you are going to carry in
this economic situation where nobody likes losing too much money,
Exactly.
So when they ask them to pay fine and they go to another place and they ask them to pay another fine or seize their cars, I think something will be done about that tinted glasses. I would have removed it if I was in their shoes.
Yeah. So, but then. That's a curious question, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know that, even though I know it's out there. But you can find details on page 27. Court extends injunction on Osun local government funds. You can find more details on page 10. And then growing up in African shrine made me free. This is coming from Made Kuti. I don't know. I can't imagine how that made him free, but it's his story. People can actually find more details on page 16. And then cover up. Now, Nasarawa cops freed after murder of 7 Lagos traders. You can find more details on page 8. And then Buhari's aide to Jonathan, stop lying, he said. Boko Haram wanted to kill Buhari. And this is actually a huge one, but then you can find details on page 27. Well, if they wanted to kill him, if it's not his time to go, they can. No matter the
Yeah, of course.
no matter the bullets they they shoot at him, whatever.
This came after the interview with Jonathan that he was saying, the Chibok girls is a scar he will live on with. Okay.
Yeah. So you can find more details on page 27, and that's the much that there is for the Saturday Punch.
Well, we'll go to Saturday Tribune. Boldly written as Obasanjo, Jonathan, Kuka. Sultan brings storm on terror war. Kuka says politicians exploiting Islam for power. Sultan says Islam, jihad, not about violence, politics. Tinubu vows to defeat insecurity. Well, this insecurity issue has been an issue that has been ongoing. Like, we talk about it on and on and on, and we just can't help but to just keep putting it in our prayers, because that's the only thing that is left for us as Nigerians now. Where you can find us in page 7 of the Saturday Tribune. Osun LG funds, court extends account freezing order till October 9. Court extends account freezing order till October 9. Council chairman secure fresh order against account. Supreme Court fixes October 7th for suit. We will retrieve our money, says Governor Adeleke. This is in page 4 about the court extending the account freezing, and the page 28 about Governor Adeleke saying they will retrieve their money. Well, Wiki flags of N2 road pledges inclusive infrastructure delivery. This is in page 25 of the Tribune. Lautech nurses suspend strike after Makinde's intervention. Well, that's a good one. You can find this in page 25. The whole story is in page 25 of the Tribune. ADC leadership, court says no to Kachiku's motion. This is in page 5 of the Tribune. And this is the much that there is in the Tribune, a newspaper today.
Oh, there's a whole lot, like I said earlier, because usually, because the weekend, the newspapers actually extend till Monday morning before you start seeing more stories. But then online, you can actually see stories that will keep coming up. Yeah. So just in case you're not able to get this, you can actually check the online to see what's more stories, and you can have full information of everything we've read out for you this morning. Well, let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll open the phone lines to hear from you about the price of cooking gas in your area. Stay with us.